Welcome to the Let's Get Vulnerable podcast. It's your host, Dr. Morgan. Today's episode, you guys, this is a special Valentine's Day episode. This is what I would have needed to hear when I was on my journey of healing and trying so freaking hard to have a healthy relationship. I'm going to give you the no fluff, straight up, real talk. These are the lies that are keeping you stuck. And then also we'll go into some words of wisdom. I'm going to give you a little bit of a pep talk and get you kind of back on track so that you can really step into this beautiful chapter of your life where you're easily attracting the kind of love that you want, because all of you deserve that. You are so worthy of love. You're so worthy of having this part of your life figured out. I remember when I was in toxic dating patterns and really struggling with my disorganized attachment style, my mental health, all of my past relational trauma, it just felt like it took up so much time and energy in my life. And it was draining me to the point where it impacted my work. It impacted my ability to show up for my friends, for my family, for my health, my mental health, my physical health. I was so drained by the toll that unhealthy relationships were taking on my life. So one of the things I love about healing and about the work I get to do, it's not just about attracting your emotionally available dream partner, although that is a very juicy part and it's wonderful and you so deserve it. But it's not just about that. It's also about the life that you get to have once that part of your life is figured out. Once you become securely attached, the life that you really want in all areas gets to come to you, whether that's career, health, wellness, family, travel, ways you want to give back. Who you become as you step into the secure version of yourself and the secure relationship is really such an important piece. I don't ever want people to think that, oh, I'm just doing the healing work just so I can have the relationship. Having the relationship is so beautiful and it's such a gift, and it's one of the most important things we do in our lives is attract incredible partners and intentionally build a life with someone. That is so beautiful. But let's not forget, it's also about who you become in your life, right? Um, once again, this is a Valentine's Day bonus episode for you. I'm thinking of you. If you are alone on Valentine's Day, if you are feeling like, oh my gosh, I should be further along, I should be already married, or I should already have a partner and I don't, I just want you to know that it's never too late. You're never too broken. You're listening to this show. You're someone who wants to work on themselves. You are in the right place. Okay. And love really is possible for you. I have a client who is a graduate of the Empowered Secure Loved program. And she did the program about a year ago. And let me tell you, this person was so skeptical when they came into the program. And I love this. She was kind of like, well, this isn't going to work for me. I don't know. She was so skeptical and fearful, but she did the work. She was so vulnerable in her healing process. She was very committed to doing the work of the program, and she applied it to her dating life. She started to date in an entirely different way. She, in her first couple months of dating after doing this work, she would attract people that she knew were not the right fit. And the difference was, this time, after she had done the work, this time she wasn't going to waste her energy. She wasn't going to waste her time, and she would end the relationship. So in the past, those relationships might have lasted 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year. But she was able to break up with these people because she had high self-worth. She had secure attachment. She had clear standards and non-negotiables. and she could communicate with open, honest, direct communication. So she'd end the relationship. And then what happened? She made space for it. She became it. And she attracted a securely attached, healthy, loving relationship. And now, about a year after the program, this person has moved in with their partner. They're celebrating Valentine's Day together. I get a little emotional thinking about this because you guys, like, this client, like, really, really struggled before. And I'm so empathic. Like when clients come to me and they're struggling, like I feel it, and she just so badly wanted this. And she did the work, and she's celebrating Valentine's Day with her partner. Okay. And they moved in together. They're so happy. They're like intentionally building a life together. They're having open, honest, direct conversations about finances and the life that they want to build. And they're just on this beautiful, beautiful path together. And it's all because she was willing to do the work. And she told me, she's like, yeah, I know I was so skeptical, but it really worked for me. And I mean, she's just forever grateful for having done the program. And that's why I do what I do. Can I be vulnerable with you guys for a second? I feel like I'm in this new era of, the podcast is called Let's Get Vulnerable. And I want to show up more and be more vulnerable with you guys about like what I'm going through, because I think we can all learn and grow together. But the reality is this mission that I have to help as many women as possible. And we also do help some men. Yes, that's right. We do also work with some men who are really, really ready to do the work. So if you're listening, you're like, I'm a guy, does this apply for me? Yes, we do help men too. But this mission came from this place of I know how important it is. I experienced so much relational trauma, but then I also experienced the joy of being on the other side of it. And I really wanted to help as many people as possible. Okay. So it was born from that early 2020. And then by the end of 2020, I've talked about this a little bit before, but I experienced losing one of my very best friends to suicide. And this was someone incredibly close to me, like the kind of friend where, you're sending them memes and you talk every day and you're sending each other the latest songs you're listening to and all of each other's shit and you're very in each other's lives. This was somebody I was incredibly close with, one of my very best friends on the earth. And I lost my friend to suicide. Still to this day, probably probably the hardest thing that I've gone through. Losing my mom, obviously at a young age, so incredibly challenging. But there's something about like losing someone to suicide that is so different. And what I don't talk about a lot is that he was in a toxic relationship. He was in a long-term relationship that became very controlling, that his partner had a ton of mental health issues. So there's so many different factors, but the point is him being in this relationship so negatively impacted him. And it was one of the factors that led to his death. And when I tell you, I went into the deepest, darkest depression I've been in. And what's funny is, I didn't talk about it publicly because I really couldn't. It's only now that I'm starting to be able to actually process it and talk about it publicly. But deepest, darkest depression I've ever gone through in my life. Lots of feelings of guilt that I should have known, I should have been able to do something. And also about 3 months after, 6 months after, everything was a blur. I was on like totally numb and autopilot. You know what else it did for me? it motivated the shit out of me. It put this fire inside of me to help as many people as possible become securely attached and have healthy relationships. Because a lot of you, you're not at that deep, dark place where your mental health is so, so poor that, you're at risk for suicide. Thank God. But I've seen it at its worst. I've seen what relationship trauma and relationship pain can do to people. And I've lost a friend because of it. And I want you to be able to thrive in your life. I want you to have the kind of relationships that fill you up, that fill up your cup. People, not just even your romantic partner, but even with friends, right? Like people that you are so thrilled to be in their lives. You're so thrilled to have them in your life. And you get to build these long-term, healthy, securely attached relationships. I'm on a mission to help as many people as possible do that. And a lot of it came out of the pain that I went through in losing my friend. And obviously, I have other motivations as well. I think about, the younger version of me who was going through horrible toxic relationships and, in my 20s and just so lost. And I needed the Let's Get Vulnerable podcast. I needed this. So this is also for everyone who needs it, right? Um, but I don't even know why I'm sharing this. I think I just want you guys to know, like, I really truly believe that working on yourself and doing this healing work and going on this healing journey and becoming the secure version of you so that you can have healthy, loving relationships. This is the most important thing that you can do in your life. Tony Robbins always says this. He says, the quality of our lives is the quality of our relationships. And I believe that 1,000%. My life is such a vast change from what it used to be. And it's because of my relationships. It's because of who I have become and how I've been able to show up in my relationships that my life is just a gazillion times better than it was in the past. Okay. But it starts with you. I'm going to get into this because we are going to get into this episode. I'm going to talk to you about the lies that people believe and the things that keep them stuck. It starts with you. It's not about finding the right person. There's so many, and people say this all the time. They're like, well, you just haven't met the right person yet. You just need that right person to come into your life. Honey, if it was about that, man, wouldn't that be easy? It'd just be about like finding the right person. It's not about that. It's about you becoming the right person. It's about you doing the work that allows you to attract and maintain a healthy relationship. Because it's one thing to be able to go on a date with someone, you go on that first coffee date, you're like, wow, they're very emotionally available. This seems like a great person. It's another thing to be able to maintain it and to deepen and grow that relationship. And you need to have their nervous system, the belief systems, and the secure attachment that supports you in maintaining and deepening that emotionally available relationship, right? So let's get into this episode because I'm going to talk to you once again about the biggest lies that people face in their dating life. And then we're going to also do this little mindset shift section where I'm talking about, okay, so what is it to become securely attached? What are some of the core things that we need to have in our mindset to be in the direction of the securely attached dater? Okay. So before I jump in, you better be coming to my live event. Okay. It is happening next week. Can you believe it? February is going so quick. Next week, I'm hosting a 3-day live coaching event. I feel kind of emotional talking about this because we have so many people signed up. I've never had this many people sign up before. It's really cool. Like it's like 800 people already. So, like, shout out to my younger self who literally hosted the first event and had like 20 people signed up. Like, we have such an amazing community. There's so many of you coming to this. It's like blowing my mind. But if you haven't signed up, what are you doing? It's happening Wednesday next week, the 19th, the 20th, the 21st. This is like live coaching for me where I'm going to help you rewire your brain. I only do this once a year, and holy cow, do I have a crazy year this year. Like, this is the only time that this is ever going to happen in 2025. So do not miss it. It is my Valentine's Day gift to you. I don't have to do this. I do it because I want to help as many people as possible. This is not some passive sit back and watch thing. This is an experiential workshop style that's going to really help you become securely attached. So use the link in the show notes, sign up. You will be in good company. There's so many people signed up already. We're going to have an incredible time together. All right. Let's talk about the lies that are keeping you stuck in your love life. Okay. On this Valentine's Day, these are the things I need you to know. I already kind of talked about the first one, but the first lie is this: that we have to just find the right person, that it's about connecting to the right person. My caveat is this, is that you have to become the securely attached, emotionally available version of yourself who has really healthy relationship beliefs. A lot of people don't know what I mean when I say that. Your beliefs, your programming about relationships, they're determining your relationship results. So a lot of you have beliefs like, my partner will always leave me, my partner will cheat on me, I'll always be abandoned, I have to work really hard to earn love. And you have these beliefs unconsciously, okay? And they're determining the people who you're attracted to and the kinds of relationship dynamics that you create. So we have to have really healthy relationship belief systems, healthy relationship models. What does it look like to build and maintain a long-term healthy relationship? So it's about becoming the right person first, and then you easily attract your emotionally available dream partner. And then obviously, as you become securely attached, yes, then it is about trusting yourself, building that inner trust. Can you really trust yourself? Connecting to the compatibility pieces, the value pieces. Then it becomes about that right person who can meet you. But once again, first, we have to become the right person. Okay. Lie number 2. This one is so tough. I've did this one so much in my 20s. Maybe some of you can already guess. It's this. It's, if they love me, they will change. I can get them to change. There's so much that gets tied up in this lie. A lot of us are repeating patterns from childhood, and we go, well, if I'm good enough, if I'm pretty enough, if I do XYZ, if I'm successful enough, then I'll get this person to love me. Then they'll commit to me. I just have to prove that I'm worthy. Okay. So this is a lie, that we can't fix someone, we can't change them, we can't heal them if they're not ready. You guys have heard me say this before. We don't want to water plastic plants. Do not give your energy to relationships that cannot grow. Okay. We have to realize people are who they are, and it's not about loving you that's going to cause them to change. People have to decide to change on their own accord. Now, I was having a conversation with a friend about this just this morning, actually. And one of the things I was saying was, hey, if you want to have someone show up differently in the relationship, I think it's really important to communicate, hey, like, these are the things that I need. And then it's very important to say, if these things do not happen, I want to let you know that I'm going to have to pull away. And if you're at this point, then you also want to say, then I'm going to have to end the relationship. This is not a ultimatum. This is a, hey, these are the consequences if these things don't change in the relationship. And I'm a big advocate for letting people know in advance what's going to happen if things don't change. Like, people need to know the consequences of how they're showing up. And once again, we give people that information so they know, okay, what's the consequence? And then they get to decide if they can change, if they have capacity. And a lot of times they don't, and that's okay. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they go, you know what? I hear you. This relationship's so important to me. I'm going to do whatever I have to do, and I'm going to work on changing. Right. So, this whole lie of if they love me, they'll change is really keeping so many people stuck in relationships that they just don't belong in. And it can go on for years. It can go on for 10 years, 15 years, 25 years. I've seen it all. If you stay in something with the false belief that, oh, when they love me enough, they're going to change, you can really sabotage your happiness, and you can sabotage allowing yourself to be with someone who's really, really compatible for where you are and for what you want. Why would we pick partners that don't meet our needs and let them take up that space in our lives when we could be reserving the space for people who can meet our needs, for people who do want the kind of relationship that we want, right? So that one will keep you stuck for years if you let it. It's super sneaky. Moving on, the third lie I want to talk about, and there's a couple parts to this one. I have to play hard to get, or I have to chase someone to make it work. Essentially, I have to play games in dating. I have to play whatever dating game I'm supposed to play. I'm so sick of this one. Here's what I want you to know. You don't have to play the games that are out there on the dating scene. You can you can run your own race when it comes to dating. You can decide, what do you want your dating life to look like? What kind of experiences do you want to have in your dating life? What's important to you? You get to decide. Okay? So when we're securely attached and we're dating, it doesn't require games. It requires something much scarier. Do you want to know what it requires? It requires vulnerability, authenticity, open, honest, direct conversations, a willingness to see yourself clearly so that you can then show up as your true self to others. That's what it requires. The games are the easy way out. The not texting him back for 3 days to make him lean in and then want to text you, girl, that's the easy way out, okay? That's what everybody's doing. We are different. If you're listening to this podcast, you're different. You want to show up intentionally. You want to show up authentically, intentionally, and you want to attract people who are serious about building the real thing. Okay? We're not here to just have an okay relationship. You want to have a healthy, vibrant, thriving, securely attached relationship, and you deserve it. So lie number 3, like, don't play the games. So let's review those lies. Lie number 1 was that love is about finding the right person. We said no, it's about becoming the right person. Lie number 2, if they love me, they'll change. False. We can't get people to change just because they love us. People get to change because they want to change for themselves, or because they realize if they don't change, they're going to lose the relationship, and the relationship really matters to them. So then they're going to do the work to change. But they don't get to just change because, oh, they love me, or, oh, I'm good enough. That's totally a lie. Lie number 3, that you have to play the games. You don't have to play the games. Run your own race. Show up in your dating life the way that you want to. Be intentional. Create the kinds of dating experiences that you actually want. Okay. All right. Moving on to the final part of our episode today. This is going to be really, really powerful. Let's talk about the mindset. So, how do you show up as the securely attached version of yourself this Valentine's Day? Hopefully, you're either with your Galentines or your friends, or maybe you have family. I know I asked my niece, my 5-year-old niece, if she would be my Valentine. And she said, "What about Robert?" And I said, "Well, I can have multiple Valentines." And then she said, "Okay." So, you are so loved. If you are single, will you please just realize like you are so loved? Your relationship status does not determine your worth. There's so many people in your life that love you, that care about you. Like, let's lean into all kinds of love this Valentine's Day and not just make it about your relationship status. All right. So take yourself out on a really nice date. If you're single, I want you to plan it. Maybe it's a spa day. Maybe it's an adventure if you're an adventure girl. Maybe you are taking yourself out to a restaurant you've always wanted to go to, or going to go see a movie by yourself. But take yourself out on a date and allow yourself to enjoy it and do whatever the heck you want to do. Okay. Like let's make this a really special Valentine's Day for you. Let's get into this. The securely attached mindset shift. This is so interesting. You guys have heard me say this before. We don't attract what we want. We do not attract what we want. We attract who we are being. You attract the type of love that you believe that you deserve. If you feel unworthy of emotionally available love, of somebody who fully chooses you, if you feel unworthy of that, then you will attract people who aren't ready to fully choose you. So, one of the biggest mindset shifts is really feeling into what you deserve. I want you to connect to it. What do you deserve? What should loving you being loved by your ideal partner, what should that feel like? Can you feel it in your body? What does it feel like to be loved by your emotionally available dream partner? Feel it in your body. That's what you deserve. You deserve to be fully loved, and you need to start believing it. The next mindset shift, this is really key. When we set boundaries, when we take up space, we are helping ourselves attract what is meant for us. So by you showing up authentically, meaning setting boundaries, speaking your truth, sharing your emotions, asking for reassurance, damn it. So many of you struggle with asking for reassurance. But when you show up fully and authentically, you are attracting the person who's meant for you. Okay. You attract what's meant for you more quickly, the more quickly you show up fully and authentically. And then finally, I'm going to leave you with this. This is so important. Rejection is redirection to something better. There's no failure in dating. I say that over and over and over. My clients are sick of it. There's no failure. There's only learning. Okay. If something doesn't work out, then it wasn't meant to work out. This is where we have surrender, we have faith in God, we have faith in the universe, and we say, I know that every single no is simply a step closer to what is meant for me. And what can I learn from this? What can I actually take away? What could I learn from this relationship? And then how do I just open my heart up to what's really, really meant for me? Because rejection, something not working out, all it is doing is making space for the right person. Okay, that's all it's doing. So I want to end this with I need you to know something. I need you to know there's nothing wrong with you. You are so lovable. You may have some blocks in terms of maybe it's your attachment style, maybe it's old relationship beliefs, maybe it's relational trauma that's getting in the way, but all of that can change. You are so worthy of doing the work. You're so worthy of love that feels like coming home, that feels like that deep exhale. where you can relax into it, where you can be in your feminine energy. None of you struggle with feminine energy. Like, I need you to hear this. If you're like, oh, I'm so masculine, it's not that you're so masculine. It's that you've been in relationships that don't feel emotionally safe enough to let you return to your feminine energy. Your feminine energy is a natural state of being, and it will naturally come out for you when you are in emotionally available, emotionally safe relationships. Stop beating yourself up. It's all about how do you heal enough and become securely attached so that you're attracting the type of partner that naturally brings out your feminine energy, where you can receive and you can relax and love. It's going to naturally happen when you're in an emotionally safe relationship. Okay. All right, y'all. I'm sending you so much love. I'm so excited to have you with us on this 3-day Move to Secure Attachment Challenge happening next week, starting on Wednesday. It's going to be so transformational. I cannot wait to see you live. And of course, as you all know, I'm wishing you a happy Valentine's Day. Do something wonderful for yourself. And I'm also wishing you high self-worth and great relationships. I'll talk to you soon.